Well, good morning, everybody. So it's been a while, and you've probably figured by now boats are back out there and having quite a lot of fun. So you couldn't ask for a better start day. You couldn't ask for a better weather forecast coming up. They've got great speed and they're sailing around in pretty smooth seas in a strange sort of a way because they're in the lee, long distance lee of the Assawas. So that's keeping the sea state down while there's a fair bit of breeze there to push them along. And yes, there's a few little glitches in the tracker at the moment, but that's trying to sort itself out. So we'll get back into a routine now. We promise that we will do at least one tracker update every week. And I said that for the last two legs, usually on a Friday. So that's going to happen. And if we're available, we'll possibly do as much as a tracker every day, but we can't guarantee that because we're a bit all over the place. So usually I'd say it's probably going to be every other day or something. So 3 or 4 a week, but we'll try to do every day if we can. Still just pretty much Jane and I doing this. Ada's over here at the moment, you probably know, helping out with things. In fact, I really blew it yesterday, cheapers. I completely... I was absorbed. We had a few little issues at the start, sort of at the start line, which didn't happen until, you wouldn't have seen some of that. Anyway, it all sorted itself out, but I had 3 million things going through my head, and then we started the live, and I sort of, and Ada's doing a lot of stuff for her own Facebook and social media following. She's got a huge following, 11,000 people on her Facebook stuff, and she does millions of views every month, sort of thing. It's quite amazing. Anyway, all French, all back in La Sable d'Olonne and so on. And so over the last week or so, she's been doing her stuff. I've been doing mine, and I forgot to join the two, so I didn't give her the mic for the commentary. And then when I watched it play back last night, I thought, geez, it's a bit boring, just me talking all the time. So anyway, it was a great day, quite amazing. The people here in VUDA are exceptional, and we knew they were going to sing us a song, but then it turned into this spontaneous hugging. And it was crazy. In the end, for the next 10, 15 minutes, everyone's running around hugging each other and all the goodbyes, and now they're finally on their way. So quite good. We'll be here based out of VUDA for some time. We don't go back to France for until November or something, beginning of November. So that's cool. And of course, John and Mike are here. Popeye flew in the end. His boat's still over in Vavau, but he arrived on Friday to say goodbye to everyone, so that's cool. And John's here, so they're going to spend a few months having fun in the Pacific, basically, which is good. And Dan's still here, of course, which is a sad story, but at the same time, it's all about what we're doing. We're all out here using every day valuably. So Dan flies out today. Graham is here. It's been great to catch up with him. I hadn't seen him for years, and he's had a great time interacting with the entrants and just enjoying the ambiance of the Pacific and VUDA and all the rest of it. So it's been quite cool. Last night, having dinner up at the Boathouse restaurant with the managers, effectively, and that was a bit crazy because we were all bagging out on the entrance and telling all the back stories and so on. Sid's the funniest one with Kerry Jeepers. Anyway, so that was a bit of a fun time as well. Most of them are all flying out today, so they just catch up now and go. And then in the next day or so, we'll be slowly but surely pulling down all the 580 signage. There's stuff around the marina here. You've seen the stuff that we're using there. That'll come down. And we'll look forward to bringing the event back here. It's not official yet, but hopefully we'll be at VUDA again in 4 years' time. Certainly Adam and Lisa and everyone here expressed their amazement about the whole thing and how much fun they've had as well, being involved with the 580s, and particularly the characters. The sailors are... I can repeat the comments from some people. We get the comments from the photo galleries and the bits and pieces, and they say, "Oh, this looks amazing." They're ordinary people, but they're extraordinary people at the same time, and that's so true. They're all living an incredible life. and living their dream, doing the MGR, not the GGR, living, really out there having an amazing time. And it was an emotional roller coaster yesterday for lots of different reasons. They're now going into leg 3, and that's going to be tough. There is some potential for serious weather challenges in the future. By the time they leave Cocos, the trade winds will be behind them pretty much until they're well up into the South Atlantic. There's an element of unknown, and that's part of the attraction. There's serious risk involved, and that's also part of the attraction. Every one of the entrants are what I call responsible risk takers, and if there wasn't risk there, they probably wouldn't want to do it. So they're engaging with that in a passionate way, and really out there having fun in the little boats that most of them have built themselves, and the story's slowly picking up. There's all these little snippets coming up from the entrants in their hometowns and bits and pieces. So long may the adventure continue. Anyway, not a lot to talk about on the tracker because they haven't even been out there 24 hours yet, but we'll have a look at the tracker. There's a few people turned up, so we'll get into that, and we'll chat at the end. So I've got to remember to make sure I get this right. You should now be looking at the tracker, so that's cool, and hopefully you got the audio, and I'm now on the tracker. So there it is. I'll scale this back. There's the Asawas over here, an island chain coming out from Viterbo, and that's actually means that all this is new sea state, so it was forecast to be relatively low for the wind strength. So anyway, let's put the wind in here, get some wind up, and then I'll scale it back. It's a bit slow. I hope you're still getting me there. So we'll just come back here. So we'll put the snail trails, put the big ones on there, the bright ones, put the grid on, and everyone's having fun. You can see what's going on. There we are, back here in the lagoon. They pretty much did as expected, because you can see here what's going on. There's a big wind shadow down here to the lee of the island, and they needed to get up into this airflow, squeezing through both the two main islands here, and it accelerates a little bit through here. We came through here on Bounty Boat and got absolutely nailed. In fact, we had our first, when we came through on Bounty Boat, we were coming up through here, and somewhere around about here, we had our first capsize on Bounty Boat, and we laid it right over, filled the boat up, and I had an obscure thing happen there. I wished we had it completely capsized upside down because we'd practiced for it for so long. I wanted to prove the fact we could do it. It was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, blue sky day, big winds, strange sea, and it knocked us down, filled the boat. But unfortunately, we didn't fully capsize, so I couldn't prove to the world we could recover from that. But we had some fun, and we ended up having to stop here. But I digress already. Sorry, waffling on. Anyway. Nice ride so far. They had light winds to start, and then when they got to the entrance here, or just out, there's no real extreme reefs anywhere. They've all blasted out into a nice breeze. At the moment, it's showing sort of 15 to 20 knots, and that's keeping the average speeds up high, so that's good. And it's interesting, the track carrier course going up, he's sort of headed the highest north, but the breeze is holding through the middle. So he might have wasted a bit of sailing a little bit away from the mark, but let's wait and see how that pans out in the next couple of days and see what the forecast is after we go through the individual positions. Oh, wrong way. I'm going to just come up there. Okay, so Jacob, he's showing the leader at the moment because he's closest to the run line, and so therefore he's closest to the finish. But what I will say, there's some distorted numbers coming up on the leaderboard at the moment. I sent YB a message just to say, hey, the leaderboard's showing some funny figures. We've got some negative distances and so on. And you can see straight away, showing distance in the last 24 hours, only 12 nautical miles. So that's wrong. And then the distance to the finish, showing Jacob 7,466. It should be showing, I've measured out before just roughly, about 9,700 miles to Cape Town, and that distance to the finish is showing Cape Town, so that's a little bit suspicious as well. But nonetheless, I think the boat speed is accurate, so just stand by. It might take 24 hours or something for everything to settle down, and it's the weekend for YB as well, which is a bit difficult, and it's not an emergency, so I didn't want to flash up the, hey, ring the emergency number, and which we have if there's a problem with the boat, and we're having issues with our console here because we can change the number of position reports, whether it's 10 minutes or 4 hours and things like that, but it's not a major emergency, so we'll let it sort itself out, because you can see they're sailing away from Fiji. Anyway, Jacob's looking good, the new racing man, and 5.2 knots so far at the moment. So Christian is showing -5 nautical miles, yet he's doing 5 knots. So there's a few issues there, same again, but 5 knots is okay. So and then Jasmine, I'll just bang that up. It's interesting to see where people are. I mean, everyone will be settling down for sure, but to the best of my knowledge, everyone, when they departed, was basically in good shape. So there was no one that suggested to us they had major deficiencies, because sometimes you can prepare the boat and leave it set there and go away on your holiday, come back, get on the boat, and like hours before you depart, you find a problem pop up. But we didn't see any of that. Everyone was pretty much ready to go. So Christian's probably tailing the fleet here, and then Jasmine's right alongside, doing 4.9 knots, very similar. Ayrton doing 5 knots, so they're all having a nice ride. I'll show you the sea state in a minute, but it was only suggesting 1.5 meters or something for this wind. Is very nice. Josh pushing through there in the mid group at the moment, 5.3, a little bit faster than the others, and Gary right alongside him, 5.1 knots. So that's cool. Interesting to see. Josh is showing a little bit faster, and he's a little bit in front of Gary. So Eric over here is 5 knots, and Adam War 4.8 knots. So Eric's catching Adam. Peeler still there in the hunt, possibly settling in, 4.8 knots. And Kerry right over here, he's travelled a long distance, but he's probably working out about the same, only doing 5 right now. All these report times, you can see 2000 UTC, so at least the position reports are coming in at the right time. So Renaud, 5.6. Now we'll come back to this issue because he's got one hot boat in front of him. Forget about Captain Coconut, he's up there, but he's this is his sorts of conditions, nice strong breeze and calmer weather. So he's pulling away from the fleet. But yeah, 5.6, and look who's out in front here. Dan Turner, 5.6 as well, but he was moving a bit better during the night, obviously. And this could be part of a psych out for Renaud. I was talking to Jane this morning. I said, hey, he could be just backing off and cruising at the moment, just to give everyone a false sense of security and letting Dan stream out ahead. Now, when Dan realises he's ahead of Renaud, I say Renaud spelt with an E, and that's not correct. It's Renaud, it's without the E. Renaud, let's see how far ahead he is, because I can't use the distance to the finish. It's only 3 miles, but there's a psychological factor there. So Dan's going to try harder and faster and might do something wrong. And then as soon as he does something wrong, Renaud will just stream past and put pedal to the metal and all that sort of stuff, and speed up again. But early days, not a lot in it. 3 miles is nothing. So they're all in the hunt right now, having a fantastic sail. This will be a quick one because there's not a lot extra to talk about, but let's just look at the weather going forward. You can see the big stronger breezes coming up behind, which is cool. And before we get there, I'll show you the sea state. Waves, they should be, it's still all blue, which is amazing. For this, you probably, if you've been following the tracker previously, with this wind strength, you'd normally be starting to get into the pink, but there's some slight protection from the islands there. And also, if we come out to the big picture and then go to anyway, we're doing a forecast. I'll show you here. There's next day, starting to get a bit darker in the front. Next day, boom, boom, you're back into it. So you can see the wind's going to build. It's been calm for a few days, and then the sea state's there. But they'll be coming out of there by the time this wind changes to build the sea up. So let's just go back to the wind. And I'll show you the big picture first to show you the systems. It's reasonably stable. Nothing really happening. This is pretty much trade wind stuff, and you can see here trade winds going all the way through to Cape York. So this could be and should be a reasonable run. and a continuation to a degree of the trade winds. So, but there's a little bit of a kerfluffle going on there. So we'll come back down now and look at their projected weather for the next 2 days. So there they are. To give you an idea, where is sorry. I'm just going to say roughly where they'll be. That's where they're going to be in about a day. I think they'll do their 100-mile days. So that's about where they're going to be in one day, and then they're going to be about here in the second day, right? So that's the weather we'll just focus on for now. So I'll get rid of that and hit that, and we'll push through every few hours. So it's pretty much holding. That big breeze that was coming up behind falls away, but then it comes back again, and just going to keep pushing them. So it's an easterly of 15 to 20 knots. They'll be ahead of that orange at the moment, and it's not extending very far. So here we go. Yeah, they've got a nice breeze for the next 24 hours. Great sailing. They'll be now, by the time we get through to here, this is on the 28th, this is tomorrow. We're using times here based out of Fiji, of course. It is UTC, but when I talk tomorrow and blah, 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 it's here. But generally you can see it's very stable, and the leaders are probably going to run out of breeze before the those that are further behind, because there's a big area of nothing there that's going to come through, slow them down. So great way to settle in. That's one day. We're coming up into 2 days now. We're at 29 there. You can see, big patch of light stuff. So nothing to worry about there for these guys and girls. They're going to have a good time. We'll have a look at the currents. I'm not sure there'll be that much happening up here. It's pretty benign. I was a little bit pushing them down later, but that's all cool. So that's about all we've got to talk about there. I'll come back here and see if anyone's, before I do, wasn't this pretty classic? The start line was cool, and we got hammered about having a too narrow start line in the past, and it was like 300 meters long, and we decided to have a real squeeze here because it was downwind start, and the start line was only about 150 meters, but it kept the fleet together, and it was all a lot of fun, and we had the Dura out there and so on, so that was all pretty good. So now we are back here. I'll get rid of that. Okay, so let's see who we got here. G'day, Ray, from Ireland. Yeah, it was a fun start. We all really enjoyed it. It was good to see the boats up close. It was amazing to have flat seas, just enough breeze to sail. So I don't think we didn't allow them to use their engines after the 10-minute gun and for up to 10 minutes after the start, because we thought it could have been a drifter, but it all came in just nicely. And they had it was fun watching go to windward across the bay there. So that was good. Interesting to watch if the fleet route north of Vanuatu for stronger winds or between the islands for shorter route. Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. You can anyway. I think generally speaking, you can see that band of no wind coming. Those sorts of things are the issue, and generally it's a straight line thing. Up there you could see the trade winds on the top. There's not a lot of potential movement in stronger top and bottom, but we'll wait and see. I think the majority will probably sail shortest distance, rum line, and straight course, and sail right through through Vanuatu. But time will tell. From Kerry, feedback, all good with Adam, although he said he was a very rough night. Feedback from Kerry. That's Jane's put that up. She's in the other cabin. Did that come in now, Jane? Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. From Adam, okay. Oh, Kerry feedback. That's Adam's manager. Okay, so I thought it was the other Kerry, but I'm just not watching my spelling. Okay, so it's a rough night. Yeah, there was plenty of breeze. Even when it's windy and it's a metre and a half, it's a lot better than having 2.5 meters or whatever. So that's cool. G'day, Nigel. And Boat Builder John, I missed the news of Canadan has retired. What was his reason? It was a medical reason. It was a very unfortunate situation for Dan, but he's got some medical issues, so he's returning on Wednesday. And the boat's in the water here. It's coming out of the water tomorrow, I think. out of the water on Monday and put it in a hole here, cyclone hole, and he'll, you know, yeah, he'll be returning to Canada, and then he'll work out what the overall plan is later on. So, g'day Isla, g'day Rachel. Love the photo of the boats, long straight line. Yeah, there's some good photos yesterday. Ada got some classic as well. She's got a different eye, so that was fun. Great coverage as always. Yeah, good fun. It's sort of what we do. People are surprised, but we, and a lot of it's boring for people. This is the other thing, and I always say, so look, if you're bored, just go get a cup of coffee. But those that are really interested probably watch every minute of all the coverage that we do. And so we just treat it along the lines of as if there's someone there, some of our mates in the boat or whatever, and we just do it, you know. And then it's up to people if they want to watch it. But we get some interesting feedback. There's a lot of people still there watching it all. So it's not like the usual flashy stuff like Sail GP or whatever, but there you go. Nikki, Dan Turner in Immortal Game, feeling good, messy sea state overnight, but enjoyable sailing. They're a bunch of pussies. I think it's messy because they've been having flat calm holidays everywhere, meter and a half. joke. It was quite fun when Renault sent the first vision. I was surprised when he sent that back. That's why I shared it. I think it was about 4 or 5, maybe 5 or 6 hours after the start. And they were hooting along. They had good breeze, looked like a metre sea, and obviously that was going to build as they got out. And it was good to see. It looked felt good for them. So obviously they're going to take a couple of days to settle in now. And different entrants take different rates to settle in. But thanks for that feedback, Nikki. And he says, Smee, good morning from New Zealand. Hope all well. Yeah, everything's good. Interesting seeing the position change through the last leg to now. Yeah, it's a whole new ball game. And in fact, this was just last conversation before we sign off. This was a big topic of conversation. All the entrants would absolutely love to see every stop a mass restart, and it simply doesn't work. And it'll be highly unusual if it changes at all. And the reason is that you imagine this: if we were doing a leg restart for every section, because we have a leg from Panama, leg 2 was from Panama to Fiji. With 4 sections, I think. So Panama to Marquesas, pit stop. Marquesas to Papeete, pit stop. Papeete to Tonga, pit stop. And then Tonga to here, pit stop. So there's 4 sections in one leg. If we stopped the race at every stop and did a mass restart, the followers, like you, would be completely confused. You wouldn't know who's winning anything, right? But for the sailors, it's great fun because they get to catch up and they all start again. Now, the next problem is that the leader, the first boat in, right, after, say, Panama to Marquesas, is going to get a 10-day stopover. And the last guys, who are waiting for him to catch up to go restart, is going to get a 1-day stopover, right? So it doesn't work. It's not fair for the individuals and boat preparation. And then it extends the time so much that you're never going to get 5-week break here in Fiji, because you don't have the time, because you had to wait for all the boats to catch up. And originally the concept was that we would announce the restart date of a leg, like here in Fiji, 2 weeks after 25% of the fleet arrived. And that was a good idea. It was a good concept. Works well for the sailors. But guess what? The single most important people after the sailors is the family and friends and supporters who would love to fly in to Fiji to join what's going on and things like that. And unless they have a fixed date, then they can't make any planning, a fixed date for the restart. They need to know the date of the restart more than 2 weeks before the restart, right? Because they've got to fly in, they've got to book flights months ahead and things like that. So there's a whole series of elements. The first one is, if we can't explain the race to the followers, right, the followers won't understand it, so therefore the media won't understand it. Oh, here we go, favourite sport, mosquito. Just flew across the screen. And if the media won't do it, then we've got no chance of sponsors later on, and I've seen events fail for that very reason. You've got to keep it simple. And it's not simple because we have pit stops, but that's easy to explain because it's one issue. And once you get the concept, you understand totally that when the boats are at sea sailing, they're in their real positions until the stop over here. And then you've got to make corrected time. over things. So there's method in our madness, and it's not perfect, but it's as good as we can get it. And I still hold that whilst the entrants would love to be racing every leg, it just simply is very complicated. Adds some difficult challenges. However, at the end of this edition of the race, we will of the MGR, we will review everything and then see what we've got. Having said that, we've got feedback from entrants on the different ideas for the notice of race, and the notice of race for the 2029 MGR will be out in weeks. I won't say days, but in weeks. So it'll see, and people who are interested will be able to sign up, because there will only be 20 entrants. Right? I had another comment today on one of the videos from someone said, "Don, close your eyes. Imagine this with 150 sailors, because it's going to go crazy. 150 boats." And I know exactly what he means, but it is one thing to talk about wanting to do it. It's another thing line up at the start. It's quite a serious challenge. Anyway, tending to waffle on a bit. We've been here for nearly half an hour, and it's only the first day. So, but we're back, and we're looking forward to keeping you updated. Really looking forward to following. We're as excited as you are to follow the race. It's really good fun. So thanks for following. Just remember to like and share and press the subscribe buttons and all that sort of stuff, and tell your mates, and it's all good. So Sun Lover Sailing, this leg is all the way to Cape Town. Yeah, it is. Yep, leg 3 is from here to Cape Town, and the pit stops, they have a choice with Thursday Island or Darwin. That's up to them, and then it's Cocos Keeling, and then it's Rodriguez Island. Which you can see on the tracker. If you get on the tracker yourself, you can open it up and you'll see. And then from Rodriguez to Mauritius, Port Louis there, and then from Mauritius to Durban, and then from Durban they get weather days to hop around the coast and stop depending on the fronts. And I'll do a separate session or a special one to talk about that when the following starts picking up, probably in a couple of days, because some people forget, it's tracker day. We're back into trackers. And I'll explain the course completely. In fact, I'll probably do a special live just talking about the course, and we'll look at all the ports and where they're going and what the issues are and what the challenges are, because it's quite a serious deal. People aren't if people think this is a rally or just a nice cruise, you'll probably have a different opinion once we explain all that, because it is getting quite serious now. In the next number of months, there's that mosquito in the sun. And yeah, it's going to be fun. So yeah, thanks Graham, not boring, I agree. All good stuff. So we'll hopefully see you tomorrow, and yeah, have a good weekend, because today's Sunday. Yeah, so you're Saturday night your time. See you later. Whoop. Seeing anything.